Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 108 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. The cultivator camp has gained another lord. Nearly half of our power, and this new lord can withstand it. Jin, Mo Man, and Ming Huang's strength has recovered. The ancestors, with their outstanding observational and sensory abilities, immediately recognized Luo Feng's capabilities as soon as he appeared. This made them increasingly uneasy. Such a strong physical body? And can restore his companions to their pinnacle? The cultivator camp has gained a formidable lord. Who is he, and why do we have no information on him at all? The ancestors were temporarily unaware of any intelligence on Luo Feng. Given their status, they were more focused on the world-level primordials of the cultivator side. The so-called invincible beings below the braided cage? Every group of worlds has many. The innate primordial life camp is, after all, the opposing camp, and although it's possible to gather intelligence, it wouldn't be so timely. From being received to breaking laws with force, only less than 2 millennia have passed. This period remained a time of war, with every group of worlds on high alert, and the ancestors had no intelligence related to Luo Feng. Be careful, Mo Man's avatar has entered. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the minds of all the ancestors. Among the 73 ancestors, there was a giant exotic beast with dozens of hooves and claws, covered head to toe with countless eyes, over 1,000, observing the Lord's side. Under its watchful gaze, no move from the cultivator side could be hidden, and Lord Mo Man's sudden infiltration was naturally discovered. Mo Man has entered. The other ancestors tensed up. Mo Man himself was a primordial fluctuation. If he incarnated into a fluctuation, even the ancestors couldn't differentiate between these fluctuations. Ha ha ha, Thousand Eyes, you still found me. A reckless laugh echoed, his laughter carrying potent allure. The ancestors with weaker minds saw illusory realms manifesting before them. Let the entire infinite primordial space turn into fluctuations for me. With his frenzied voice, the vast temporal space where the 73 ancestors resided twisted entirely, every inch of space transforming into surging waves, or seemingly notes of music, composing a battle hymn. The battle hymn resounded within their minds. The entire space-time transformed into countless notes, and within this space-time, the 73 ancestors were chaotically stirred, torn, destroyed. Facing Mo Man Lord fueling his main combat avatar with a terrifying strike, they gave their all in response. Among the ancestors, a sphere was there, a perfect sphere. No matter how much magnified, it remained a perfect sphere. That was Origin. Among the 100+ ancestors in the innate primordial life camp, only 4 qualified to hold a seat in the land of eternity. Origin was one of them. It was the strongest in defense among all life forms in the infinite primordial space. Its existence demonstrated various defense dials. Settle. It remained undisturbed in place, unaffected by the horrifying fluctuation. However, it could only settle a small surrounding area. After all, Mo Man Lord's move turned the vast temporal space completely into his fluctuation weapon. The extensive range and great power made even Origin's garrison range small. Suppress? Among the 73 ancestors, a winding great serpent roared, forcefully sealing space and attempting to suppress all fluctuations. It was the infinite snake ancestor. The highest leader of the entire infinite great snake clan, and the most respected existence in the innate primordial life camp. Ranking among the top 3 in strength, it was undying and unmatched, also the absolute war party leading force against the cultivator camp. Its power to suppress space was utterly terrifying, but at this moment an extraordinary power suppressed it. The infinite snake ancestor looked in anger and astonishment towards a distance, at that Starlight Lord. It knew. The only one on the Lord's side who could suppress its spatial expertise was that Starlight Lord. The Starlight Lord had silently stepped in, aiding its companion. Ha ha ha, Brother Mo Man, I'm here too. The reckless voice of the Golden Lord rang out. Damn ancestors, I've endured you for too long, time to make you understand the price of offending as lords. His voice was somewhat frenzied, dividing into 13 black auras suddenly. The 13 black auras appeared out of nowhere at critical nodes in the ancestors' area. As Mo-Man used the vast temporal space as notes, when the spacetime shook the fiercest, the Golden Lord's 13 black auras merged at the critical nodes. Boom! 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 13 explosions. This terrifying explosive power leveraged a single force to trigger 1,000 forces, 1,000 to trigger 1,000,000, continuing consecutively. The process happened instantaneously, causing power to surge to unfathomable heights. The 13 explosions not only had terrifying power but also precise locations, perfectly coordinating with Mo-Man's move. The explosion and fluctuation completely overlapped. These were two lords unleashing recklessly, and this terrifying fluctuation instantly swept over every ancestor, seemingly intending to erase them from their quintessential existence. The ancestors fully resisted as well. These lords have gone mad. Burning the main combat avatar in desperation, everyone brace yourselves. The ancestors were shocked but still put forth their best effort to resist. Yet, the all-out attack from Mo-Man and Jin burning their main combat avatars was so horrifying, forcibly causing over a dozen ancestors with weaker protective abilities to suffer severe injuries. Any ancestor had incredibly tenacious life force, with companions assisting them. Killing an ancestor was extremely difficult. Die? The most terrifying explosive power had just diminished, and the severely injured dozen ancestors hadn't yet taken a breath when they saw the endless radiant golden thunder. Golden lightning, dazzling and brilliant, struck those 12 severely injured ancestors in an instant. Lord Ming Huang. Her lightning is unavoidable, and once unleashed, it never misses. At this critical moment of eruption, she too spared no effort, burning her main battle avatar to launch the strongest 12 strikes, all targeting these 12 ancestors, making them feel the golden lightning obliterate every part of their bodies. The power of their surrounding companions helped to block it, enabling them to persevere. Slash! Luo Feng also swung the sky-splitting saber in his hand, with each slash containing a 10,000th of his energy reserve, which was also his utmost in a single strike. Hundreds of blade lights were slashed out in the blink of an eye. After these blade lights were slashed, guided by the elemental array and with the help of Starlight Lord Spacetime, hundreds of blade lights descended into the depths of those ancestors, approaching the flanks of the 12 ancestors. RIP. These ancestors had different abilities, most could withstand or avoid the attacks, but one unfortunate ancestor took a slash from Luo Feng head-on. The ancestor, already hanging by a thread, was forcibly cleaved in two by the slash. With its body split into two, its strength declined further. Yun Mo, quickly enter my body, the initial promptly transmitted upon seeing this. As long as it hid inside, no one in the entire infinite primordial space could harm it, but during war, the initial would only allow other ancestors to hide inside when in a state of severe injury. After all, during war, hiding inside meant one less ancestor fighting. Facing the lords, one less ancestor was tolerable, but losing 10 ancestors would likely lead to collapse. Die? Suddenly, from another timeline, an enormous hand descended into reality, holding both spacetime and the divided Yun Mo ancestor. Starlight? Yun Mo ancestor was startled and angered. Yun Mo, fuse with me, a voice arose in its heart. Yun Mo ancestor calmed down as its body turned into endless light, which the spacetime hand could not completely confine, transcending time and space. The endless light flew into the body of another distant colossal being. Thank you, infinite ancestor, for saving my life. Grateful, Yun Mo ancestor hid inside this massive being. This massive being was a gigantic sphere of light, containing endless light within. It was the infinite ancestor. One of the top 3 powerhouses in the innate primordial life camp, it theoretically had the possibility of complete death, which is why it couldn't secure a spot in the land of eternity. However, within the innate primordial life camp, the ancestors greatly respected it. Because it was too powerful, on par with the infinite snake ancestor. The initial, indeed, was undying, but its strength among the ancestors was just below average. Infinite ancestor, one of the 9 emperors of the innate primordial life camp. Starlight watched this scene, slightly frowning. The 9 emperors of the innate primordial life camp are the 9 highest ranking among over 100 ancestors, consisting of 4 undying beings and 5 extremely formidable ones. The infinite ancestor was one of the 9 emperors. It, the infinite snake ancestor, and the silent extinction ancestor were the top 3 among the ancestors, with only the infinite snake ancestor having a seat in the land of eternity. The infinite ancestor indeed faced the potential of total annihilation, but the 8 lords of the cultivator camp could not accomplish this. Only 2 existences in the infinite primordial space could restrain it. And even then, it was merely restraint. To kill it, it required a multifaceted cooperation to have hope. Because of the possibility of death, the infinite ancestor was the absolute main battle faction of the innate primordial life camp, seeking to devour more source world origin to advance further. Hold steady, these lords want to take advantage of our unfamiliarity with the new lord's methods to launch a counterattack. The enormous ball of light conveyed to everyone, once we understand their methods, we will have ways to counter them. Be careful, Mo Man is in again, the Thousand Eyes ancestor anxiously said. What? All the ancestors couldn't believe it. A breath ago, wasn't Mo Man desperately burning his main battle avatar? They did not know that when Mo Man, Jin, and Ming Huang burned their main battle avatars, they left behind a weak avatar hidden and protected by the Starlight Lord. After burning their main battle avatars, their weak avatars were immediately restored to the pinnacle by Luo Feng. Yuan needed to master the formation, Starlight needed to control space-time. Their cooperation stabilized the situation. Wu Lan and Luo Feng needed to withstand the opponent's attacks and maintain the battle array. The 4 of them needed to remain in a constant pinnacle state. Lord Nai Ji, containing various ancestor bloodline methods, was quite comprehensive, but his desperate means were not as formidable as the other 3. Mo Man, Jin, Ming Huang, their paths, once burning the main battle avatar without sparing energy, became very terrifying. Ha ha ha, I'm back again. Accompanied by Mo Man Lord's mind-shaking voice, the ancestors felt the situation worsen. They were powerful, had strong life force, and could coordinate with each other. Even when facing the lords who mastered the essence of power, they were unafraid. But when Mo Man and the others could repeatedly burn their main battle avatars and fight, how long could they withstand? This time, Mo Man Lord transformed into waves of grey fluctuations. These grey fluctuations had no impact on space-time but completely penetrated every ancestor's body, demonstrating another lethal move of the primordial fluctuation Dao, the soul fluctuation kill. The ancestors, whose life cores were their origins and extremely strong, resisted this strange fluctuation. I'm here too, Jin Lord's arrogant voice sounded. This time, destruction rifts appeared in vast territories, sweeping past already heavily injured ancestors, and finally, 2 severely injured ancestors were devoured by the destruction rifts. This caused the other ancestors to be shocked and enraged, as 2 fellow companions had fallen in battle. Before this war, only 3 primordial ancestors had died. Through the tempering of war, the remaining ancestors have gained more experience, and the Lord's side has not had any results for a long time. But now, 2 more ancestors have died. Golden Lord's techniques, the realm of destruction, indeed above mine. Among a group of ancestors, there was a restrained black light, within which stood a figure, seemingly humanoid, seemingly a bird. This was the silent extinction ancestor, one of the 9 emperors of the innate primordial life camp, ranking in the top 3. Among these 9 emperors, 6 participated in the battle. They were 4 undying and undying beings, along with the infinite ancestor and the silent extinction ancestor. This newcomer lord possesses the power to quickly restore companions to the pinnacle. Silent extinction ancestor looked distantly at Luo Feng, he is the key node. Serpent, infinite, initial, I will try to deal with the new lord. Silent extinction ancestor's voice rang in the minds of the 3 companions, if we cannot break this node, we should first avoid battle. All right. The infinite snake ancestor, infinite ancestor, and initial all responded. These ancestors had many cooperative strategies, and the avoidance strategy was one they were reluctant to choose, but the current situation was too dire, and if the silent extinction ancestor also failed, they could only avoid battle. These exchanges were slow in words, but in reality, the ancestors' mental communication took only an instant. Let's attack together and deal with that new lord. The voice of the silent extinction ancestor echoed in the minds of 6 other ancestors, who were either thousand-eyed, or enchanting creatures, or an exotic beast shining with starlight. The silent extinction ancestor took the lead, with 6 ancestors supporting, cooperating in their attack. New Lord, please succumb to extinction. A cold voice echoed in Luo Feng's soul. As Luo Feng was attacked, Lord Minghuang also burned his main battle avatar, and his body melted into terrifying golden thunder, passing through the obstructions of time and space, locking onto each severely injured ancestor, making escape impossible. An endless light spread. A phantom emerged. The ancestors also did everything possible to help their companions. As long as this new lord is severely injured, the situation can change. Silent extinction ancestor had this premonition. Boom! Luo Feng felt his soul was akin to a vast and resilient great mountain, with the enemy's power concentrated into a giant hammer covering the sky and earth, smashing onto his soul. This was a joint attack on the mind and body by 7 ancestors, including the silent extinction ancestor, Thousand Eyes ancestor, and Star Luo ancestor. In an instant, Luo Feng's soul roared, and an invisible force permeated every part of Luo Feng's body, leading his body towards collapse and destruction. Is it silent extinction ancestor and the others? Although Luo Feng's soul roared, he remained entirely clear-headed. He pursued the ultimate strength in life. His primordial life and death Tao contained 6 systems, with the mind-consciousness system being a key part of it, making his soul extremely strong among lords of the same level, and compared to those ancestors, frighteningly strong. Even withstanding the full power attack of silent extinction ancestor and their ilk, everything remained intact, with 10 billion and 80 million origin restoring 1/10 of the energy every moment, quickly expelling all alien energies from his body. We failed. Silent extinction ancestor looked on from afar, sighing softly, as expected. Thousand Eyes ancestor, Star Luo ancestor, and others were quite helpless. The joint attack by the ancestors was generally influenced by the elemental array, passing multiple lords' domain blocks and weakening. The elemental array would lead, making Wulan withstand most of the attack, with Luo Feng bearing a smaller portion. But the mind-based, killing blow of the 7, including silent extinction ancestor, could bypass the elemental array and domain's hindrance, directly targeting Luo Feng's body. With this technique, the innate primordial life camp had killed other camps beings of the same level. But this killing blow was much less effective against the 8 lords of the cultivator camp. On one hand, each of the lords was immortal, and even if they endured this blow, only Lord Naijiyu and Golden Lord would be affected, with strength impaired. Others were all unafraid. Their techniques could not lock onto the Starlight Lord, nor could they touch the Yuan soul. Wulan could easily withstand any attack. Luo Feng remained stalwart. Minghuang and Mo Man, these 2 lords, were both extremely strong in mind and could easily resist mind-related harm, leaving only minor physical injuries. In the past, this technique could target Lord Naijiyu and Golden Lord, once plunging the Lord's side into crisis, but with Luo Feng's arrival, the defensibility of the Lord's side increased comprehensively. Avoid battle. Infinite Ancestor's voice resonated in the spirit of every ancestor. Under the thunderous fury of Minghuang, Infinite Ancestor instantly transformed into vast and endless light, dazzlingly bright, shading the vast realm where ancestors resided, assimilating many ancestors' bodies. Swoosh! The endless light abruptly contracted, reduced to a point, and withdrew into a giant sphere. In the vast space, all other ancestors vanished, leaving only one enormous sphere in place. They have avoided battle. 8 figures observed the giant sphere, lacking even the desire to strike. Ha ha ha, how satisfying. All those long years of scheming, and I only managed to kill 3 ancestors with the weakest survival abilities. This time, I killed 3 in such a short time. Jin laughed heartily, feeling utterly pleased. Indulgently using the forbidden technique, treating the forbidden technique of burning the main battle avatar as if it were a move used every moment, this feeling was amazingly wonderful. Starlight, did you get all 3 ancestor corpses? Ming Huang looked at Starlight. In the last moments, under her assault with the burning main battle avatar, even though the ancestors defended with all their might and retreated, she still managed to kill 1. Don't worry. In terms of temporal and spatial insights, No one surpasses me. The instant you killed it, I grabbed its corpse into another timeline, Starlight chuckled. An ancestor dead and defenseless, he could immediately take it away. Thankfully, we concealed the information about Luo Feng's breakthrough in advance, catching these ancestors off guard, resulting in such success. Yuan also felt relieved and relaxed. The tides of this war have completely turned. Didn't you see that group of ancestors hiding inside Initial to avoid battle? Previously, in the war, the ancestor side held the advantage. No matter how Starlight calculated, they couldn't overcome the absolute disparity in strength and could only watch as their territories fell step by step. Now, everything has changed, forcing the ancestors to choose to avoid battle. If exposed in advance, with the insights of the innate primordial life camp and a definite target, they could deduce much information. They might have dispatched reinforcements or temporarily retreated, Starlight said. Luo Feng, however, looked at the massive sphere in the distance and said, "We have no way to deal with this initial ancestor. The 8 of us together, can we move it to some dangerous place in the infinite primordial space?" "Indeed, we have no way to deal with it," Yuan nodded. "No one in the entire infinite primordial space can deal with it," Starlight also said. Luo Feng understood from the intelligence about the initial ancestor. The intelligence recorded. The initial ancestor represented the ultimate defense of the infinite primordial space. It cannot be destroyed, cannot be shaken. But it moves slowly, attacks clumsily, and can be ignored as if it doesn't exist. Its body is quite special, Wu Lan said. In terms of robustness, it is comparable to me. But its body has the incredible ability to perfectly disperse power. Even if it were me attacking with full force, 99% of the power would be transferred and neutralized, Jin said. The remaining 1% power faces a robustness akin to Wu Lan's body. Luo Feng was shocked. Jin is among the lords with incredibly strong killing abilities, and even his techniques can be neutralized by 99%. In the infinite primordial space, if other entities attacked, leaving even 1,000th or 1/10,000th would be remarkable. Where it is, seems like a fixed point in time and space, unshakable, immovable, Starlight said. Can't move it at all? Luo Feng murmured. Wu Lan said if the power was strong enough, it might be possible to move it. But our power, once transferred and neutralized, leaves possibly only 1,000th. Naturally, it cannot be moved. Luo Feng understood. Brother Luo Feng, you could try, Ming Huang laughed, you could slash it freely, it won't fight back. Even if it fought back, it wouldn't be worth mentioning, Mo Man also laughed. Luo Feng also knew among the ancestors, initial ranked lower mid-level in terms of deterrence, even worse compared to the lords. Each lord could rival the ancestors at the highest level. Let's try. Luo Feng was also curious about the strongest defensive existence in the infinite primordial space. He watched the massive sphere ahead. It was denser than the source world, even becoming a fixed point in space-time. Just looking at it, Luo Feng could feel the profound mysteries of many Daos it embodies, the mysteries of life, the mysteries of matter, all the mysteries wonderfully united and complete, itself a miraculous existence. Luo Feng stretched out his hand, and a sky-splitting saber appeared in his hand. Swoosh! The sky-splitting saber instantly pierced through the space-time distance, carrying infinite power and slashing towards the massive sphere. At the moment of impact, Luo Feng felt as if the blade struck the void, with no sensation of contact. Even when part of the force followed the life lock, forcefully transmitted, only faint traces of blade light touched the giant sphere's surface. But even this 1,000th of the blade light's power didn't leave a mark on the sphere. Starlight laughed, the fact that you can hit it, Luo Feng, is already not bad. The massive sphere suddenly emitted a deep voice, this lord who struck, you the 8th lord of your cultivator camp. Your cultivator camp is truly fortunate to produce a new lord during the genocidal war. Initial, do you choose to continue fighting, or will you end the war? Yuan looked at him, if you continue, we will accompany you. Beside the massive sphere, 4 avatars suddenly appeared. They were the infinite snake ancestor, the infinite ancestor, the silent extinction ancestor, and the inference fire ancestor, the core war faction among the 9 emperors of the innate primordial life camp. Do you really think that with one more lord, you can win? The infinite snake ancestor coiled in the void, staring at Luo Feng and his seven. The cultivator camp should be our food, with no right to resist. Who is whose food? Jin sneered, our lords are undying and undying. You ancestors are our food. We hunt you, making each of you our cultivation resources. Let me count, up until now, haven't we killed 20 ancestors? While not a single lord of ours is missing. Yes, 20 ancestors have died, but due to your death threat, we also birthed 32 new ancestors. Silent extinction ancestor said calmly, the weak ones died. The ones who survived are even stronger. Yuan Ping usually smiles, with the best temper, but at this moment he looked at the few ancestors in front of him with an icy expression. Over the long years, your innate primordial life camp has lost 20 ancestors in our hands. You have also clashed with other camps, losing 15 ancestors. Altogether, you have only produced 32 ancestors, so the overall number has still decreased. The infinite great serpent and several others, their expression slightly changed. Indeed, as the largest group in the infinite primordial space, their ancestors' numbers have somewhat decreased since fighting the cultivator camp repeatedly. This is also why some ancestors within them didn't want to engage in combat with the cultivator camp. After all, the lords are undying and undying, fighting over and over again. What's the good outcome in that? U8, isn't it proof that individual strength is more important? That ball of endless light had a very strong oppressive force. Innate primordial life born with infinite longevity should pursue the ultimate in strength with infinite lifespan. Silent extinction ancestor also said, to pursue ultimate strength, one must have the determination to do whatever it takes. Even if we fail and completely return to silence, we would gladly accept it. Infinite snake ancestor and inference fire ancestor looked at the 8 lords. The two of them had reached the realm of undying and undying, even more calmly. The source world origin is the best resource for the innate primordial life camp. Even if I no longer need it, the entire camp does. Infinite snake ancestor said, my other followers in the infinite race need it too. The 3,600 world groups you occupy are the prosperous 3,600 world groups, with abundant source world numbers. Inference fire ancestor said, if you're willing to back off, retreat to 1,200 world groups. Our innate primordial life camp can take a step back and stop fighting. The 8 lords looked at them coldly, not bothering to refute. Then just wait. Infinite snake ancestor and others also returned to the initial ancestor body. Initial ancestor, upon its own path, reached the utmost. It could calmly watch over the winds and storms in the entire infinite primordial space. No matter how strong the force is, it could not threaten it in the slightest. But as a member of the innate primordial life camp, it also willingly assists its kin. They are seeking support. Starlight said, as many avatars walking the future lines have already glimpsed many possibilities, though there are also those within the innate primordial life camp opposed to going to war with us. But to save many ancestors and ensure their camp's advantage, there should be substantial forces arriving to support. Luo Feng and the 7 of them firmly believed in what Starlight said. These ancestors hiding within initial ancestor do so because they cannot retreat. Before Starlight Lord, who has the utmost accomplishments in time and space, they cannot escape. Their retreating process would instead show many flaws. Under the combined all-out attack of the 8 lords, would likely result in the death of several ancestors. Hiding inside the initial ancestor, waiting for support was the best choice. How many ancestors will support them? Yuan asked. Starlight said, at least 30 ancestors will come to support. Luo Feng, Jin, Ming Huang, Mo Man, Nai Jiyu, Wu Lan, the 6 of them listened and their expression slightly changed. With so many ancestors coming, it would mean more than 100 ancestors working together. The deterrence power would be too terrifying. When it involves the tribe's destiny, the 9 emperors will also gather. Starlight emphasized, we have to prepare well. Prioritize defense, rather give up some opportunities, also must ensure the stability of the battle array. Afterward, seek chances to counterattack. Yuan said, with Luo Feng present, we do not fear prolonged combat. Immediately, Yuan, Jin, Wu Lan, Ming Huang, Nai Jiyu, Starlight, Mo Man, Luo Feng, the 8 lords naturally formed a battle array, covering the region where the initial lord was, guarding it. Those weaker ancestors, daring to show their true body, would face the encirclement and attack by the 8 of them. Land of Eternity. This is a place where all existences that have reached the level of undying and undying throughout the infinite primordial space have the qualifications to come and have a place here. It is a piece of land naturally nurtured by the infinite primordial space. A grain of dust from this land can suppress a high-level primordial life. The intangible pressure of the land of eternity can turn a world-level primordial life into powder. Like the ancestors of the innate primordial life camp, over 90% have no qualification to come here. This vast flat continent only has an ancient round table. The round table has endless secret patterns, mysteries, and at the moment has 28 seats around it, with 3 figures currently sitting there. Infinite primordial space, the distances between each other are too far, they are accustomed to meeting here. The 8th Cultivator Lord. A group of grey mist sitting on one of the seats, and I appeared on the surface of the mist, watching the distant battle with interest. The cultivator camp is too special. They are weak creatures within the source world, gradually cultivating, ultimately mastering the essence of supreme power, reaching a state parallel to ours. Indeed very special, each of their strength is quite strong. I quite like Starlight and am friends with Ming Huang. A figure wearing white battle armor coldly watched from afar, but that one called Jin is too despicable and shameless. Last time at the Abyss of Destruction, unable to confront me directly, actually attacked me while I was in the midst of slaughter. I despise these contemptible souls the most. This figure in white battle armor, filled intensely with the aura of destruction. Golden Lord, Lord Mo Man, Lord Nai Gu, just these 3 are the most contemptible in the cultivator camp. A feathered creature sitting there had a peaceful expression, with warm white feathers all over. His presence was discreetly ordinary, but he is also one of the presences at the pinnacle of the infinite primordial space. Lord Nai Gu doesn't threaten me one-on-one, but he teamed up with Golden Lord and Lord Mo Man. The 3 lords ambushed me as one. Ha ha, heard your feathers were all plucked clean. The white battle armor laughed. Calf Shio. The feathered creature burst into anger. My fault, my fault. The white battle armor said, waving a hand in front of him, revealing the image of the feathered creature gravely injured, feathers falling off, leaving just some short feathers, blood covering the body. Oh, I did remember incorrectly, you still had lots of feathers left. The feathered creature glared at him. The figure in white battle armor smiled again as he put away the images. At his level, collecting jokes of those on the same level was quite a hobby. He had no tribe, no companions, existing in isolation, yet having reached such power, he had to find some fun for himself. The feathered creature also endured it. He had descendants, unlike Ka Fushio, who existed alone, feared no one, and dared to insert himself wherever there was a commotion. Ka Fushio, Feather Emperor. That mass of grey mist gazed at the distant battlefield. 8 lords joining forces can suppress 73 ancestors, kill 3, and drive the remaining 70 ancestors to retreat. These cultivator lords are indeed formidable. With them working together, even in the infinite primordial space, they are an extremely strong force. Feather Emperor nodded, somewhat envious. Because the group he commanded had only him who could rank in the land of eternity. Is the cultivator camp gaining the upper hand? We also conquered 3 world groups of the cultivator camp. When the war ends, will the 8 lords target us? Some ancient beings watched the battlefield from afar, feeling a bit uneasy. During the confrontation between the 2 camps, some other camps also took the opportunity to occupy several world groups. Some occupied 2 or 3 world groups, others even seized over 100 world groups. Originally thought the cultivator camp would surely fail. The innate primordial life camp occupied the most world groups. We could have shared a bit. Who would have thought the situation to reverse? Once the cultivator camp wins, those 8 lords likely wouldn't rest. Taking advantage of the situation, there are 12 forces invading world groups. Does the cultivator camp dare go full-on war with them? Among these 12 forces, some are strong, some weak. The strongest force is the Ice Peak camp. The Ice Peak camp is an alliance formed by 12 beings of the land of eternity. Although their number is far less than the innate primordial life camp, in terms of deterrence, the Ice Peak camp is more terrifying because most of them have no tribe concerns. They act naturally more domineering and lawless. They actually don't care much about the source world origin. What they need are the extremely special and precious resources nurtured within the vast territory. In the eyes of the Ice Peak camp, occupying over 100 world groups is already very giving face to the cultivator camp. After all, if they exerted themselves, they could seize several times the territory. We've only occupied over 100 world groups. What can the cultivator camp do? Do they dare go to war with us? The Ice Peak camp didn't care at all. Cultivator territory, dark world group, land of origin source world. Luo Feng stood on a terrace of the Huyang City Lord's mansion. At this moment, his body had completely transformed. Although his energy reserve was only 1% of the total, this reserve was already comparable to the main battle avatar of the smallest lord among them, Lord Mo Man. The cultivator camp faces too many crises. Only after breaking through did Luo Feng understand many secrets. On Earth, wherever people are, there is conflict. In infinite primordial space, there are also various conflicts. The innate primordial life camp is considered the most hostile force. Yet with other camp forces, there are also many big and small conflicts. Brother Yuan can come all the way from the most humble beginnings. It's not easy. Luo Feng knew the situation of the cultivator camp was much better than it was early on, thanks to the appearance of several lords including Starlight Lord. The crises of the cultivator camp will be resolved one by one in the future. Luo Feng had the patience. As a lord, with an infinitely long lifespan, he has the time to keep fighting. Each lord was filled with confidence in the future. Lord Cheng, the most wonderful thing. Luo Feng, as a creature of his homeland source world, even after becoming a lord, the source world origin didn't resist him, allowing Luo Feng's power to easily penetrate and effortlessly refine and control the entire origin. After complete control, the homeland source world seemed to become his other physical body. At this moment, the entire land of origin source world had no secrets in front of him anymore. Everything was completely under his control, including the recorded time river of the land of origin. In the time river, countless creatures rise and fall, whether alive or dead. These creatures continue to luminously exist on their former timelines. Only those who had died, their timelines were just a segment already stopped. Luo Feng could lift these creatures from the time river, allowing their timelines to continue, even to persist eternally. Within the scope of the source world, within the braided cage, Luo Feng could indeed allow them eternal life. Giant Axe Senior. Luo Feng saw those familiar, whether strong or weak figures. He even saw the blissful life of his teacher, mountain-sitting guest, when he was still God King Jin. Every regret could be remedied. This is what is most wonderful about becoming a lord. Luo Feng smiled. The first holy land of the innate primordial life camp is the infinite world, home to the infinite great serpent clan, with more than 10 ancestors at the ancestor level. The second holy land is the giant god realm, which is also a special world no less than the infinite world. The life born here is a world-level primordial life from birth. Their size is among the largest in the innate primordial life camp. The group proliferated in the giant god realm is also known as the giant god race, which is the second largest group, second only to the infinite great serpent clan, with 10 reaching the ancestor level. Buzz. The infinite snake ancestor, silent extinction ancestor, inference fire ancestor, infinite ancestor, with a single thought, their incarnations descended upon the giant god realm. The giant god realm is inhabited by thousands of gigantic creatures, at least 20 to 30% the size of the source world. Some enormous beings comparable to Lord Wulan look distantly at the 4 incarnations. The infinite snake ancestor and the others have arrived. I heard they clashed with the cultivator camp and fell behind. Now they come to seek our help. Each gigantic creature communicated telepathically, gloating. The giant god race and the infinite race have significant conflicts. However, currently, the infinite snake ancestor holds the highest prestige in the innate primordial life camp. After all, besides its formidable strength, the infinite snake ancestor is also undying and undying. Giant god brother. The 4 incarnations arrived at a spot, looking at a massive creature before them. It is a bipedal giant beast, covered in black and golden scales with a pair of massive wings besides its arms. Just sitting there, it dwarfs a source world. In terms of size, across the entire infinite primordial world, it ranks among the top 3. It is several times larger than Wulan. It is one of the 9 emperors of the innate primordial life camp, the giant god emperor. Also the leader of the giant god race. This time, the 3 emperors who did not participate in the battle are led by the giant god emperor. In terms of sheer frontal power, it is considered the most formidable among the 9 emperors. However, its ability to protect itself is weaker, and several beings can threaten its existence. The cultivator Lord, Yuan, is particularly restraining it. Naturally, its status in the innate primordial life camp is far weaker than the infinite snake ancestor. I heard you were defeated. The giant god emperor looked with great interest at the 4. A new lord has appeared, joining forces with 8 lords, making it very tricky. The infinite snake ancestor said, "We indeed cannot win, so we need your help from you 3. The giant god emperor nodded slightly, and then 2 terrifying forces appeared beside them. A massive black mist avian descended nearby, its countless black mist like countless calamities coalesced, naturally bringing down endless calamity power when engaging with enemies. Another was a fat giant beast with sleek fur, its colorful fur constantly changing, with each strand containing endless void, smiling as it looked at the 4 in front of them. Black Tide Ancestor, Primordial Beast Ancestor. All 4 incarnations greeted. Black Tide Ancestor and Primordial Beast Ancestor are also among the 9 emperors. The most crucial point is, they do not belong to any group, being unique existences. In the infinite primordial void, such unique existences mostly do not consider themselves part of the innate primordial life camp. These 2 have excellent relations with the giant god emperor and tacitly acknowledge themselves as part of the innate primordial life camp. They rarely take action at least. You all should understand, this battle cannot be lost. The infinite snake ancestor said, considering the full strength of our group, if we lose to the cultivator camp, our innate primordial life camp's intimidating power will be greatly reduced in the future. I don't like war. The giant god emperor sighed softly. It prefers calmly watching the myriad things in the infinite primordial space, observing various grudges and conflicts, enjoying being a bystander. I have never withheld the resources that should be supplied to the giant god race. The infinite snake ancestor said, at this juncture, you still refuse to fight? Allowing the cultivator camp to trample over us? Silent extinction ancestor, infinite ancestor, inference fire ancestor all looked at the giant god emperor. The innate primordial life camp is divided into 2 factions, one with the infinite snake ancestor at its core, and the other with the giant god emperor at its core. I understand, this battle cannot be lost. The giant god emperor nodded, but we are only willing to participate in this battle. After this battle, we will withdraw. Beside them, the Black Tide Ancestor and Primordial Beast Ancestor also nodded, clearly agreeing with the giant god emperor's statement. Rest assured. The infinite snake ancestor nodded, the cultivator camp has gained a new lord, and this new lord can instantly restore their companions to the pinnacle. They have become even trickier. After winning this battle, I will also take the opportunity to end the war. Losing the battle ends the war. Winning the battle ends the war. The difference between the 2 is significant. The infinite snake ancestor needs to carry the momentum of defeating the 8 lords to prove to the entire infinite primordial space that they are still the strongest. How much do you know about the new lord? The primordial beast ancestor inquired from the side. Since we are going to war, we need to understand everything about the opponent. Buzz. A multiclawed exotic beast crawled out of space-time, its claws easily grasping individual timelines. After crawling out, it spoke, I have investigated many past timelines and have clarified the background of the new Lord Luo Feng. Luo Feng, born in the Dark World Group, Origin Continent Origin World. There are obstacles within the Source World, and little is known. It's only known that his cultivation time is very short, the multiclawed exotic beast said. He cultivated for less than 10,000 epochs, reaching what the cultivator camp calls the extreme under the braided cage, and then cultivated for less than 2,000 epochs, directly becoming a lord from under the braided cage. From under the braided cage, directly becoming a lord. The four incarnations, as well as the giant god emperor, black tide ancestor, and primordial beast ancestor, were all shocked. Yes, I haven't found any information about him becoming a world-level primordial. Even his homeland source world was only refined after he participated in the battle, the multiclawed exotic beast said. Regardless of whether he became world-level primordial, he became a lord from under the braided cage in less than 2,000 epochs. The giant god emperor couldn't help but say, based on my understanding of the cultivator system, his talent and potential exceed those of the previous 7 lords. Truly tricky. The infinite snake ancestor also felt troubled. Watching the rise of the cultivator camp helplessly, they have no means. Infinite snake ancestor indeed does not need to consume the source world origin anymore. However, for its clan, the entire infinite great serpent clan, the best food is the source world origin. For the sake of the clan, it is not willing to give up. They are getting stronger, and our innate primordial life camp is also growing stronger, the silent extinction ancestor said calmly. Which of the 2 great camps will win or lose is still uncertain. The 2 great camps. One side has countless source worlds, a continuous source of younger powers, and perhaps a new lord might be born. The other side has a vast infinite primordial space, countless innate primordial lives, and the speed of a new ancestor being born is much faster than a lord. Both of these great camps understand that the other is their greatest opponent. They fight the hardest against each other. Like the current Ice Peak camp, it is an alliance of 12 entities from the land of eternity, seeming very powerful. However, firstly, they have no subsequent power. Secondly, being an alliance, they are not united enough. The 2 great camps currently fighting the hardest are much more united. This Lord Luo Feng is a newly broken through lord, the giant god emperor pondered before saying, taking advantage of his current inexperience, we must destroy the cultivator camp in one fell swoop. In the future, when he becomes more comprehensively powerful, he will be much more troublesome. When do you plan to set out? Infinite Snake Ancestor asked. The sooner, the better, the giant god emperor said calmly. Once the ancestors decide to gather, the speed is very fast. The giant god emperor, primordial beast ancestor, and black tide ancestor take the lead, along with more than 20 other ancestors willing to follow them, plus some resting ancestors at the rear, totaling 35 ancestors gathering together. I will lead everyone on the journey. A multiclawed exotic beast led these 35 ancestors, swiftly crossing multiple timelines, heading towards the cultivator territory. I have long said, there is no need to corner the cultivator side too much. If you push them too hard, they might become a significant threat, perhaps forcing a strong figure to emerge. They should be allowed to be more at ease. Yes, even if we completely break through all the cultivator territories, so what? Once those 7 lords have no territorial concerns, they will go completely mad. With the huge hatred between them, the 7 lords will continuously seek revenge. Infinite Snake Ancestor is too confident. It is for the whole infinite race. The fastest way for the infinite race to grow is by consuming the source world origin. Our giant god race can slowly absorb the primordial force. We don't need to consume the source world origin at all. The ancestors were discussing among themselves. The giant god emperor and the others were quite candid too. Acting alone, the giant god emperor indeed has significant weaknesses. However, once teamed up with companions, primordial beast ancestor and black tide ancestor, their methods complement each other. There are no weaknesses. Comparable to 3 entities from the land of eternity joining forces. That's why the 3 of them have the qualification to become the second largest faction of the innate primordial life camp.